Hello everyone, this is Eric from Etiquette, and it's another Sunday night, 10 p.m. time for the live stream. So just got out of the shower. My hair might be a little bit sticky, but today, actually I've got a really good live stream for today. Some great topics that some of the viewers picked. I'm going to show you the topics and then I'll get back into it. Before I start, this was a very interesting week. It's my first week back where I've started working on that new program I've been telling you about, the one on classroom situations. And while I've been busy doing that during the week, this weekend I was a bit lazy, but you know, you get those days. It's kind of difficult to get back into the swing of things. But first, say hi. Who's here? Hello, everyone. You can say hello, you can leave a message, and I'll get right into it. So I'll talk about the topics, and then if you've got any input you want to add to it, or if you have any questions, put it in the live stream below, or just say hello. Okay, so the 4 questions we've got 4. The first one is all about how to motivate students to study after class. And that was asked by Noor. Fantastic question. I mean, as teachers, we've got limited time within the classroom, and then how can we motivate our students to study even after class? The second question is all about student presentations. Oh, by the way, is the audio okay? If anybody's out there, because I have to check the audio. I hate it when the audio doesn't work. So the second one is student presentations, and this is something near and dear to my heart because I often do presentations in my own class, and I think it's something I've practiced a lot and I'm very passionate about because I want to get my students to be good public speakers, and I think you feel the same. In most subjects, we expect our students to be able to speak to a group. Blind spot, hi. How are you doing today? Hi, Mom. Thank you very much. Blind spot, first time seeing you here. Where are you from? Mom, I hope you're doing well. I'll give you a call afterwards. So I'll talk about student presentations. Then I had another question by Andre, which is how do you discourage bad classroom behavior from your students? And I guess this is something most teachers really worry about. And the great thing is, in that new series I'm going to bring out in March, I'm going to cover so many of these topics, so I hope it'll help, but I'll talk a little bit about that, how to discourage students from using bad behavior. And then the last one actually is from Anchal, and he asked me, what do you do as a teacher if you make a mistake in the classroom? And well, he added another question. He said, how can he stop his students from making grammar or speaking mistakes? From Spain, English 2 months ago. Thank you so much, Blind Spot. Although I feel I've been very lazy. I haven't put out great videos yet, but I'm working on some new ones that I hope can help. And if you have any questions, please put it in. I know when I first started teaching, you know, it's kind of difficult because you feel like you've got this burden to do everything on your own. And you should ask for help and advice, and that's why, you know, I think it's really good that you're doing that. Hello everyone, say hello and comment as much as you like. I like hearing from you guys. Okay, let's start with today's first topic, student motivation. Tony, how are you doing? It's been a while. I saw you maybe a couple of weeks ago, I think. Doing well? Okay, now, student motivation. This is something that is very important to teachers. How do we get our students excited about our subject? So I went onto the internet, refreshing. Okay, yeah, thanks a lot, Blind Spot. So one of the things is, as teachers, Bushra, how you doing? I hope you've had another wonderful week in South Africa. So I looked online for student motivation, and I'm going to give you some of the mainstream advice, and then I'm going to give you some of my not so mainstream advice, but advice I think not enough teachers share. So this is important. So the mainstream advice. Yeah, everything's okay in Korea. Yeah, the virus, I think everybody's worried about it, but hopefully they'll contain it and it won't spread that much. So student motivation, how do we get students motivated for our subject or for our classes? And on the internet, it says, okay, first you've got to make the topic relatable to your students. If they can connect it to their outside life, then they will feel more motivated to study it, right? They will feel encouraged to practice because it's useful to them. They can use it in their outside lives. But, that's useful, especially in our fields, in ESL. They know they can use it when they travel or when they do things. So they have to take it seriously. But how does that help something like maths or accounting that you might not use later if you're not an accountant, or really higher level maths and things that you might not use in the future? How do you get students excited about that? So that's one issue that I have. The second thing that they said is give clear instructions. One of the worst things, students initially when they come into the classroom, maybe they're very excited and they're motivated to study. But then, if they're not clear on what the expectations are, how to study, how to learn, and maybe it's too difficult or it's too easy, then they're not going to be as motivated. If it's too difficult and they don't understand what to do, they're quickly going to lose interest in your class. So make sure that every instruction that you get, they should be clear and the students should know exactly what is expected of them. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you the third one is encourage students. Give them praise when they do something well. Say, oh guys, you did so well, and talk to them sweetly. If they do something well, say, you did a great job, I'm proud of you. Now, here comes my advice, and I've got many topics, so I'm really talking quickly. If you want to add anything, please feel free, but I want you to shame your students. You might think, Eric, this isn't what we do. We want a healthy classroom. But shame is very important. It's a very strong tool. Let me explain. So you give a student homework. You say, okay, go and do homework. They come back to class the next week. You ask around. You're like, oh, what's the answer? What's the answer? And you find out that this student didn't do their work. What do? You lecture them. You tell them, I'm so disappointed in you. You know what? I give you one piece of work. I never give you homework. I expected you to do this. And you single out that student and, you basically scold them, not too seriously, but you tell them that you're disappointed and you don't want to see this. Because basically you're doing two things. Number one, you're telling the student what you did is wrong and I expect better of you. But the rest of the students are also seeing this. They're seeing you, this student didn't do their work, and you're basically telling him, listen, this is wrong. They don't want to be that boy or that girl. So you're going to be motivating those students to also work harder in class. If a student did very poorly in a test, you're going to say, look at these marks. Why didn't you study? I told you exactly what to do. Why didn't you study? So you kind of like scold them a little bit. And the rest of the students will see that and they will also be motivated to study. But I don't mean you need to break down that student. You're going to tell them what they did was wrong, but you expect better things from them in the future. Then, very important, give them an opportunity to redeem themselves. The next week, ask that student again, okay, what did you do? And maybe they did something good in class or they did the work. You're like, oh, that's great. Thank you so much for doing that, right? So that way they don't feel like they've got a grudge against you. So the other students see that you're fair and you encourage, but if somebody stepped across that boundary, if they crossed you, you will point that out. You will feel more powerful, and that will send a clear message to the class that you are the one in control. Yeah, what do you guys think about that? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Hi, Dad. I see. Yeah, you're not teaching, you're on vacation. My dad's also a teacher. So, yeah, I guess it runs in the family. Yeah. So, let's go over this again. Content of your class. Make it relatable. Clear instructions. The students should know exactly what is expected from them. Encourage your students. Tell them nice things when they do something well. And then shame them if they don't do something wrong, or at least scold them, but give them an opportunity to come back. And then get the students to compete against each other. Competition is good. You want them to try and be the best. In all the top schools, in all the top, any field you go into, those top students, they are competing against someone, because as humans, we want to win. So if there's a way for you to get your students to compete against each other, that's like the best motivation you can give anyone. Because if you say, oh, Eric, just study this, you'll get good marks, or your teacher will like you, I'll be like, yeah, I'll see how I feel. But if you tell me, Eric, here's Billy, he's your competition, either you win or you lose. Now I'm going to be like, I don't want to be a loser. I'm going to start working very hard. So you got to start, pushing it. Yeah. So try and get your students to compete. Let me quickly read what it says there. Yeah. Brilliant problem setting up expectations. Right. I think the most important thing about becoming a teacher and a leader for that case is setting up boundaries. Because if you are a strong person, if somebody crosses that boundary or they do something wrong, you have to step up and say, this is wrong. This is not how I want to be treated. And the same as a teacher. In your classroom, you've got rules, and people have to abide by those rules. Otherwise, they'll get punished. And that's how it is, So you have to start growing that confidence. And, it can come from a healthy place. I mean, it doesn't really, have to be negative, but your students should know that you have an iron will and you won't be crossed. Okay, now let me show this to you again for anyone who's new. So I just did student motivation very quickly, not too quickly. Next, presentations, and then how to discourage bad classroom behavior, and then finally teacher mistakes. Okay, number 2, presentations. I think I did a video about this before, so I'm just quickly going to say, Eco, this is for you. Student presentations. First of all, the main idea behind presentations is you want students to understand the structure of presentations: introduction, body, conclusion. Then you want them to practice public speaking. Echo, how you doing? Yeah, this is for you. So the main thing is you want your students to practice public speaking. You want them to be more comfortable and confident being in a large group of people. So you said your presentations are 5 minutes. Here's what you do. Get your students to make shorter presentations, 5 sentences. Introduction, body, 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 conclusion. Just write down 1 sentence for each, and then have them practice it in a small group. So split your class into small groups. Let them quickly practice it with each other so that it doesn't take that long. So take their 5-minute presentations and break it down into sentence, 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 and conclusion. Practice it in a small group. That will give them more, they will start understanding the structure better, and they will understand what is expected when they do it in front of the class. Now, in my classroom, one of my rules is nobody is shy in my class, because as English teachers, we expect our students to be speaking. So if somebody's shy, they don't talk. If they don't talk, I can't help them and they won't improve their skills. So nobody is shy. I have this belief, and I'm probably one of the only people on planet that believes this, but I don't believe in, introverts and extroverts. I think, imagine if that concept never got out, Students won't think, oh, I'm shy, I can't speak to people. If we didn't tell them introverts existed, we would just say, listen, speaking is a skill. Either you practice and you get better, or, some people have a better talent at it, but you can definitely improve. So never tell your students that, oh, you're an introvert, maybe that girl or that boy is shy. I don't believe it. Everybody practices because everybody can get good at it. Also, why are they scared of public speaking? Tell them that there's no rational thing to be afraid of. If they make a mistake in front of the classroom, will the class be angry at them? Will you be angry at them? No, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's an illogical fear that we have that comes from thousands of years ago. So in your classroom, let the students practice in small groups first, just 5 sentences so that it's quick. Tell them nothing to be afraid of, speak loudly, and then practice the structure, confidence, body language. I think I did a video about the body language and how to speak in presentations. Maybe I should make another video just to, because I think it was in another live stream. Yes, generational fears. Yeah, man, we all have hang-ups. Everybody's got something that they are afraid of or think that they can do well. Maybe it's just, maybe it's not, but we should really confront those fears and try to improve. Okay, sorry, it's so quick, guys. I know I'm speaking quickly. If you want to add any questions that you have or any comment, please add it in there. I know I'm just rambling, but yeah, no, it's so nice that you're here. So thank you, everyone. Oh, I should iron this shirt. Okay, next. Wow, I'm just rushing through this now. Okay, Andre asked how to discourage bad classroom behavior. This is a biggie because I think the greatest fear most teachers have is that, you know, that our students just run wild in our class. They don't listen to us. They make teaching a chore. I think most of us, we fear that. And well, that's just because, you know, your life is hell if you can't control the class. So how to discourage students? Number 1, have rules. Set up your rules. Make sure your students know them. Also have a way for them to get quiet. It could be clapping. It could be a signal. But okay, so first have your rules, you know, no walking around, no whatever your rules are, no speaking out while the teacher's speaking, you know, respect everyone. Whatever your classroom rules are, make sure the students know them. And then have some way of getting the whole class quiet. It can be 3, 2, 1, and then the kids go, you know, whatever it is, have some kind of signal. Then if you have your rules, you want to make sure that you enforce them justly. When a student breaks the rule, you know, you're going to tell them, well, that was wrong and this is the repercussion. You know, this is what's going to happen if you break that rule. Then it's just about, you know, being just. Yeah, it's classroom behavior. It's such a large topic. That's why I'm making this new series that I hope I'll be able to get out in March, just about these situations in the classroom. I'm going to talk about the situation, why we deal with it a certain way, and then I'm going to do an example with some students of mine so that I can show you how it's done. Yeah, just make sure you have those rules. Make sure you're able to get the students quiet, and then also enforce those rules justly. Many other things I can say about it, but I'm kind of rushing through. You guys know I usually tend to go for the 30-minute mark. So, and if you have any extra questions, guys, please feel free. I think I'm talking a little bit fast, but yeah, it's just to make sure I get all the information out. Okay. I'll think about that one. I feel like there's still a lot I want to say about classroom management. I've done videos about it in the past, but there's still so much all of us can learn about it and become better teachers. If you have any tips, put it in the comments, things that you believe. What has helped you in your classroom to control your class or have better classroom management? I've been reading a lot of books and listening to ebooks or watching some courses on it too, just to get some perspective from other teachers too. Because I think the main problem is that most teachers, and if you're at university, most teachers just learn it naturally by getting experience and building up their own, you know, power and will and determination. And they also learn these techniques to use. but I feel like we should have a better way of explaining it so that new teachers can actually learn that and use that in their classrooms. Okay, I'll get back to that. Now, next one. Teacher mistakes. So the last one, teacher mistakes. As a teacher, you're basically in front of the class. Everybody can see you. And when you make a mistake, it can feel really bad. Super Nanny. Oh man, I love Super Nanny. Exactly. Yeah, I think Super Nanny, a lot of her techniques of eye contact, getting to their level, and then also being firm on her rules and explaining why. She also, I think what she does is she gives the child an option. She says, okay, if you're going to do this bad behavior, this will happen. Or you can do this. It's your choice. So she never forces the child to do something. She just says, well, you make the choice. Either you do this or you do that. And as teachers, we should do the same thing. We tell the students, listen, I love you as a student, but if you're going to do this thing, then this will happen. I would much rather let you do this thing because then this will happen, right? So it's never you punishing the student. You're just saying, listen, these are the rules. You have a choice. You have free will to choose where to go. Right, so as teachers, just like Super Nanny, definitely do that. Okay, teacher mistakes. We're in front of the students. We're not perfect. Nobody is. We're going to make mistakes, and we should be okay with it. I see when I go close, I can start seeing these wrinkles come out. Okay. Now, especially in language class, you can make grammar mistakes too. Sometimes you get information wrong. Sometimes a student asks you a question and you don't know the answer. Maybe a student asks you, I remember, here's something I'm going to tell you, a big mistake I made. This was one of my very first classes I did while I was a student. And it was in this English class with this teacher. And I saw her doing classes and lessons, and I thought, man, I can do better than her. You've got this belief that, I'm going to be the perfect teacher. So anyway, she says, okay, Eric, it's your turn to teach something. You've got a week to prepare. I want you to talk about, I think it was like articles or something. And so I prepared this long lesson and I taught them everything about articles, but it wasn't necessary. It was a very boring lesson. And then somebody said, what was it? So something about like, when you say practically, I said something about you only need one L or two L's. And all the students suddenly said, Eric, you're wrong. Because we did it last week with the teacher, you're supposed to use two. And I'm like, so embarrassed. And I thought, okay, well, guys, you just taught me something new. What did my dad say? I think he said, a dog whisperer, right? Firm voice. Well, I think the dog whisperer talks about having a good energy, right? Having that leader energy. And I think it's the same with students, right? You should have that energy of, and this is a mistake many people do, is when they see a child, they're like, they look at it and they shout at it. They're like, I want to touch you. But if you're a teacher and you go into that classroom, you should go in, you don't give attention to a child who's acting out. And that's a mistake many teachers do. They, if there's a bad kid, let's give attention to that child. Instead, you're like, instead of giving them more attention, you're like, that's wrong. I don't like that. Stop that now. Instead of, no, don't do that. Keep that strong leader energy, be grounded is what they call it in psychology. So you're grounded in your own will instead of giving attention to that. Yeah, that's very good from Dog Whisperer. Okay, so I made this mistake in that classroom and obviously, righteously, I was embarrassed. And you know what I told them? I said, guys, I'm sorry I made a mistake. You just taught me something else. And this is also a learning moment for them. They can see that you are a humble person. If you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. And they will also feel more free to make mistakes too, if you own up to it. So in class, if I don't know something, if a student asks me a question and, I'm supposed to be this all-powerful, all-knowing professor. So if a student asks me a question and I don't know, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know. let me go and look it up and I'll get back to you the next class. Or can you give me a moment? I'm just going to check on my phone just to make sure. This is it. And then you can also explain to the students, guys, I made a mistake. I'm okay with it. But because of this mistake, I am a better teacher too. Because in the future, I won't make this mistake again. And the students can learn from that. Every moment in class is a teaching moment. It's a teachable moment, right? So see it that way. Don't feel bad. If it's a huge mistake, just apologize and fix it. That's all there is to it. Yeah, I think, guys, I just rambled on because I wanted to answer these questions. And I didn't even ask you guys, how are you doing this week? Anything good happening in your class? Anything bad? How's life in general? For me this week, like I said, I got back to working. So I go to the office and I work in the office. It's been tough, but I've enjoyed it. And then now in Korea, it's Lunar New Year. So in China and Korea and some other Asian countries, they actually follow the lunar calendar. And this weekend was the Lunar New Year, which everybody celebrates. So we've had Friday holiday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. Of course, it doesn't matter to me. I'm on vacation anyway. I just want to get into the office and do more work so that I can get this series done. But yeah, tomorrow I think I'll go and sit in a coffee shop and plan some videos because I haven't given you, I think it's already been a month since my New Year's video activities. So I'm planning on doing a Valentine's activities video. I've got one on 5 book series that all classic book series that you can use with your ESL students. Teaching books. Yeah, that's a great question. I've actually been going through some books right now preparing for tomorrow's. Oh, German and Russian too. Oh, nice. Привет. Как дела? Thoughts out loud. Yeah, and Tony, teaching books. I went onto Audible and I found a fantastic audiobook that I'm listening to right now. Let me put it in I'll put it in the community page. I can't remember the name right now, but there are 2 teaching books that I can definitely recommend. Either read them or the other one is an audiobook on Audible, which is so far fantastic. Maybe I'll do a review of that and put out, maybe I'll make a video of like the key points from that book. I'll just look it up and I'll put it in the comments for you right after this because I'm streaming from my phone, so I can't really check right now. These lives are helpful though? Which lives are those? Oh, the live stream. Oh, sorry. Sometimes I have these blank moments. Bushra, yeah, thank you so much. So I feel with these, the problem with these live streams is I can rant, but I loved talking to you and I like seeing you guys because, you know, it does feel like it's a relationship. Because other times, my other videos, I'm just standing with a black screen behind me, just, you know, talking about stuff. But this way I can actually share my thoughts, and it helps me practice talking about these things too, you know. This is very new for me too, because back in South Africa, I would when I taught at school, you would have this community and you would share your ideas on teaching. But here it's you know, you talk about some ideas, but it's way more isolated. So you're my community and you're the guys that I can talk about these things with. And it helps me also be better. Hi Kai, where in Korea are you? I'm here in Daegu. I'm teaching here right now. I'm right outside of Daegu. Actually, it's something I'm thinking about. I love my university, but I feel like I'm very isolated where I am. You know, there aren't many activities. Like last night, I wanted to go in and see Bundangu. Oh, you're also in Daegu. Okay, nice. Well, so nice to have you. Yeah, Gal, how you doing? I'm going to finish the live stream now, but yeah, it's good to see you here. Oh wow, you're only doing privates. I think privates are sometimes can be tough. It depends what students you work with. I would love to have, I think the main regrets I have from my years of teaching is that, you should save all the activities and all the work you've done, your curriculums, and save them so that you've got so much to pick from. Because I feel right now like I've got some ideas and things that I use in the classroom over and over again that I feel work, but I think I lost a lot of the good things I had. No worries. Always nice to have you, Gal. Yeah, I just answered some questions in this live stream. Student motivation, presentations, and teacher mistakes. Yeah, guys, thanks for... Yeah, Echo, thanks for your question. Sorry, I just rambled through it. I have spoken about it before. Maybe I should do another one. So, yeah. Gal, how are you doing before I go away? Yeah, all the time. Yeah, Bushra, I've got a lot of students. The thing is, I teach the university students and I've taught way younger students, but like I did this camp and I've taught students that are 5 and 6, and it's the thing is I'm able to use, you're going to have to use me. I'm good, but I've been very lazy recently. I need to get back to work so that I can, I feel I should be more, I should work harder, right? Yeah, guys, sorry, last thing I'll answer. With beginner students, you're going to want to use more pictures and more things that they can feel and see. And also it does help if you know a little bit of the language to just explain things to them. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Sorry for my rambling. I hope you enjoyed it or you learned something. Wednesday, I'll put out a new video. I hope I think I'll do the Valentine's Day activities one, just so that it's a couple of weeks before Valentine's Day. Everyone, I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. And if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to share from your teaching experience this week, then just put it in the community section. Everyone, have a great day. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.